The Trump administration touting its historic action on the border since January. Daily border encounters have dropped 93%. 10,000 unaccompanied migrant children have been found. The border wall will be finished thanks to $46.5 billion allocated in the Big Beautiful Bill, and more than 300,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. 70% of ICE arrests include illegals with criminal records. But the threat of illegals already in the U.S. remains. In New York City over the weekend, an off-duty Border Patrol agent was shot in the face by an illegal with an extensive criminal record during an attempted robbery and ambush. Secretary Kristi Noem is going to be visiting that officer this morning. And earlier this month, 5 Iranians and 2 Uzbekistani nationals were arrested in upstate New York, caught trying to cross the northern border. I want to bring in former Trump Deputy National Security Advisor KT McFarland. KT, good morning. And how worried should we be about potential sleeper cells that are here in the United States right now?
Well, the good news is President Trump has solved the border problem, right? Nobody else is getting in. The question we have, though, is who has already gotten in here and could potentially be turned on, turned off by any foreign power. The real worry of everybody in the national homeland security community is Iran. Are they already here? Could Iran use them to create, terrorist incidents in the United States? But then the second worry is that there's just so many illegal immigrants, so many, deeply criminal people who are in the United States already. They're not getting in now, but they're who are already here, who are causing security issues in our cities and making our streets unsafe, as we just saw over the weekend in New York City. There are a lot of people here that need to go. And that's, I think, the second part of President Trump's border policy is to not only seal the border so you don't have anybody else coming in who shouldn't be here, but secondly, to get rid of the worst of the worst, because, they're causing unsafe cities and they're a huge drain on American resources.
Right. And certainly, to your point, that it wasn't just immigrants from Central and South America coming through the southern border during the Biden administration. We had men coming from Pakistan, from Iran, from Iraq, from several countries that want to do the United States harm. And you mentioned Iran. So they're set for nuclear talks with 3 European countries in the next week. But this includes Germany, France, and Britain. The framework, though, of what they're going to discuss is reportedly already decided, but we're not really sure where they're going to meet, what country. But all this is happening as Iran's army claims some of its air defense systems have been replaced and deployed. And that's despite the mass destruction of 3 nuclear sites by the United States and Iran last month. Do you give credence to these words coming from the Iranians?
Well, look, the Iranians, they've had a choice. Since President Trump said, do this the easy way, do this the hard way. And the hard way is they want to double down. If they want to double down, try to recreate their proxy armies, double down and try to recreate those air defense systems, double down and try to restart their nuclear program, fine. They're going to spend a lot of money that they're going to waste because we know exactly how to destroy them. We've already done it once. We in Israel could do it again. The more interesting topic, though, is what President Trump has done with Iran's ability to make money. And it's really the same issue as with Russia. Iran and Russia don't have anything that the world wants to buy. They have to sell oil and natural gas. That's how they make their money. When oil and natural gas prices are high and they have the ability to sell oil and gas, they make a lot of money, and they use that money to go to war against their neighbors. If the price of oil and natural gas is low, their income stream is cut. And added to that, if there are enforced sanctions, sanctions mean that you can't, that countries or companies can't buy from Russia, they can't buy from Iran. President Trump put on sanctions on Iran. President Biden lifted them. President Trump has put them back on and enforced them. So Iran's ability to sell oil abroad and to sell it at a high price is both gone. And so even if they decide, well, we're going to double down, we're going to rebuild this, rebuild that, with what? Where are they going to get the funding to do it?
Well, and to your point, that funding is that's been what's going to all the proxies, including Hamas. Now, I'm going to get to Israel in a second, but I want to ask you about this. What are you hearing about what's happening in Syria right now? Because you've had the change in leadership. At the same time, over the weekend, new reports about the murdering of the Christian and the Druze population, in particular in southern Syria. Are you worried that Islamic Jihad could take hold once again in Syria?
Well, this was the big bet. You know, the Syrian Bashar al-Assad is gone. So Syria is now, again, in various warring tribes have been fighting each other for thousands of years. The new leader of Syria, who has a past of ISIS, Islamic extremism, terrorism, you know, we looked at him several months ago when he took over and thought, well, is that going to be more of the same? But what happened was that the Turkish President Erdogan and the Saudi Mohammed bin Salman and others said to President Trump, look, give this new guy a chance. He wants to be better. He wants to have his country potentially join the Abraham Accords. He really wants to turn away from terrorism. He may have a bad bio, you know, he may have done that in the past, but really he wants to do something different. So President Trump has said, okay, I'm going to give this guy a chance. We'll see. Syria should have the opportunity to be great again, as he said. And then President Trump dropped the sanctions. But it's looking like Syria isn't going to take advantage of that second chance. And what they're doing is the Syrian government and the Syrian military, which may not be that much in charge of events, but they certainly are not stopping the killing of the Christian and the Druze communities.
All right, no, and that's the concern, and that always was. Before you go, I do want to ask you about this.
Yeah.
U.S. Special Envoy for Hostage Affairs, Adam Bowler, he's urging Hamas to take the deal with Israel, the one that's on the table right now. Watch.
We need to get those Americans out. We need to get the other hostages out. And then what we've done is we've said, hey, there's a firm pathway to negotiate peace. That's the best they're going to get. And they should take the deal on the offer, take the offer that's there. They haven't in the past. Every single time they don't take it, it goes down and goes down and goes down. So my recommendation to Hamas would be take the deal that Israel, that the United States is offering you. Let's get some people home, and let's move to end this conflict.
KT, your thoughts?
You know, is Hamas going to do what Iran does? Is it going to double down and say, you know, no deal, or string us along as Iran has strung us along for years? If we're right, you know, Hamas, take the deal. It's not going to get any better. And if Hamas doesn't take the deal, guess what? Israel can go in and finally finish the job. Hamas is going away one way or another.
Oh, KT McFarland, it's always great to speak with you on the Middle East. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, KT McFarland, we'll be right back, everybody.